You're listening to Tucson Business Radio X, and now with Josh Gruber, here's Weeding Out Business, a program that tells it like it is. If you want to be successful on Business Radio X, here's Josh.
What's up, everybody? Josh Gruber here, Weeding Out Business. We're here at the Stewart Title offices on Broadway in Tucson, Arizona. It's Thursday, March 7th. We got a cool guy in the show today. A guy that I think his business model and mine are very, very similar, and they're not anything alike in a sense. Our businesses are really nothing alike. They work together, and we help each other out in a sense. But you know, how could you say that your landscaping business is just like a real estate company, you know, or a realtor's endeavors? And I'll say, well, it's all about marketing, right? And the guy we have here is Scott Meldy. That real estate guy. Is that what you call? Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome,
yep,
man.
You got it right.
Thanks for coming on, Scott.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet, man. So what I'm getting at is I met Scott through Facebook. You know, his real estate Facebook page popped up on my thing. That real estate guy. So I liked it because, you know, we want to get with all realtors and
Sure.
and you know, be a person in their phone that they can call on to, you know, have us come out and get their houses looking ready for sale or whatever it would be. And, you know, thanks for accepting. And, you know, we've done a few jobs together, and, you know, thank you for that. So let's dive into this, man.
Let's go. Let's do it.
You're a young dad.
Yes.
You know, we're both young dads, right?
Yeah.
You tell me about your family.
Yeah. So I have my wife, Nicole. And then I have two boys right now, Oliver and Theo. And then I got one more coming.
One more.
Yeah, one more boy. So I have three boys total.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you're from Michigan.
Yeah, I was born in Michigan. Both my parents went to U of A, though. So my dad's first job was out in Michigan. That's where I was born. When I was 7, you know, their goal was always to come back here. So when they had the opportunity to come back here, they came back here. And that was in '97 when U of A won the championship.
Right.
So good year.
That's
I
a good
guess,
year.
you know, you could say it's because we came back. But, you know, I've been here ever since, and I don't think I'm ever leaving. So
When did you come back? Do you remember the month? Because I'll call you out. It may not have been because of you. If it was May, it wasn't because of you, man.
No, I know. Let's see. I don't remember the month, but I can.
you're
It's
7.
definitely because of us.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was a good year. You'd think that there would be, you know, more with all the hype each year
Sure.
of U of A. So where did you go to school in town?
Let's see. So Fruchtendler for elementary school, Townsend for middle school, and then Sabino for high school.
Okay. So you did you play sports?
Yeah, played basketball in high school. Still play basketball. Play in a YMCA league, men's league. Now down at the Otway on the east side.
Okay. So you're 29. No, you don't know my cousin, Trevor Jackson. He went to Sabino. He was a soccer player.
No,
redheaded
I
guy.
don't think so. No.
Anyway, so yeah, man, this show that we host, you know, once a month. We've been doing it now for, you know, 8 months. We just bring on people that pretty much are responsible for their own income.
Sure.
A few guys have been on that have jobs and, you know, their sales, you know, they do sales for that company or whatever. But we just like to talk and, you know, hear about your story. You know, like what are things that you think that are like awesome that you found out that you didn't know when you started, you know, stuff like that. What are some decisions that you wish you could have made back, you know, a year ago that you know that you didn't? And you know, do you have anything that comes to mind lately on the subject of, like, you know, cool things of, you were saying about the people from Michigan? I think that's a pretty cool result of your social media.
Sure.
You know, what do you want to call it? Impression on the world.
Sure.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, well, I came from a sales world before I got into real estate. Sales people, worked at the Ritz, was one of the managers of the valet out there. Then I went to a local alarm company here. So selling door-to-door alarms for them, selling to businesses around town, things like that. So I had that business and people relationship kind of already ingrained in me.
Right.
And then I was recruited by Kay Watanabe of the Property Partners. He runs the Property Partners team here and one of the top remodel teams as well, to come work for him. I had that business relationship with him with the alarms, and he saw that potential and got me over. So I think, you know, real estate school doesn't teach you really anything about real estate. It teaches you to pass the test.
Right.
So I think I got the best advice was to join a team in the beginning, and that's what I did, with Kay, and I'm still on the team. But if I give any advice to a new agent or somebody thinking about real estate, is to join a team, whether that's for 6 months, for a year, or for the rest of their real estate career. Joining a team just really gets you around people who have done it for a long time and kind of skips those learning steps and the learning curve a little bit, kind of gets you up there to have people around you that can have been in it, have seen the mistakes, have found the solutions for certain problems, and it kind of just gets you basically out there running right away.
Right.
You see a lot of real estate agents that are on their own trying to jump on their own business. It just takes a while. It takes a while to get your first paycheck because they got to close on the house. It's not instant when you get a client you get a paycheck.
Right.
So when you have a team that's generating leads for you that can help you get those transactions, get you all the way through, that's the biggest thing that I've learned, is to surround yourself with a good team.
Right.
So,
well, from like the last signature, how long does it take to get paid?
Well, you get paid that day they close, but
Okay.
My first client, one of the first clients I got with the team, it took 8 months before they found the right home.
Yeah.
If I didn't have other, in the meantime, I closed stuff in between, but they were the first ones I started talking to.
Right.
That was in February. They didn't close till August.
Yeah.
So you imagine if I'm out there on my own, and I only had one client, what are you doing for 6 months?
Right.
How are you going to get an income? Luckily, I had other leads coming in, but it can take, you can show somebody one house and they fall in love, but still 30 days before you get a paycheck,
Right.
For that deal.
Yep.
So
Yep.
You still got to get through the stuff in between to get there to the end.
It's cool. I used to work at the Ritz-Carlton too. I was at the golf course.
Sure.
And I helped build it in 2007. It was before it was the Ritz, and then they came in and took over once it was all done. And I still know the credo by heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, because we were separate, so we were American Valet, so we actually weren't Ritz employees.
Okay, but you were the Ritz. Did you have uniforms and stuff?
Yeah.
Right? You would just use like the uniform room and get ready, and they'd have you all your. And that was a pain in the butt. I worked at the golf course up there. It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stories.
Oh yeah. People you meet, at a hotel like that, and when they had the Accenture match play, meeting all the golfers as the valet, like literally opening the door for them, talking to them with their families as they're checking in, checking out. That was a pretty cool experience. Celebrities, things like that, but just the people.
Yeah.
And getting to see all kinds of different people.
Yep. No, it's definitely a cool atmosphere, and pretty much if you're at the Ritz, you're doing something successful. So it teaches you to just have that ignorant respect.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to try to respect people. You're just doing it because that's what should be done.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we've been rocking out there in the landscaping world, just trying to somehow get the week over, and not over but completed,
mm-hmm.
Without any lingering tasks. And that's like your the struggles are to that waiting game of when are they going to close, and that how long could it take. My struggles are like making sure that we leave the house and that the customer's like, thank you so much later, and they're not like oh man, why didn't they do this, why didn't they do that,
not calling you back.
Yeah, I can only stress so much, and the more I've learned is that like building relationships right with the customer, whether it's that quick relationship to where I need to make sure that they know that if there's something that I've said we're going to do wasn't done, that they tell me.
Yeah.
Right. And if they can't be scared to tell me, or like have that delay, right? I need to build that trust in them that they could just call me, Josh, hey, I thought you were going to do this. So the more weeks we can go without, hey, we're going to come on Monday, right? The more times we could have like fresh starts on Monday, the more times we could have clean endings on Thursday.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. The biggest thing is, especially in our world, is the initial meet with the client, and it can go so far because you can do everything right and a transaction can fall apart. And so if you can build that relationship with the client from the beginning, setting expectations, letting them know that it could fall apart. There's things that happen, but that you're there to help them through that, so that no matter what comes up, you can reach out to you. So, especially I guess in landscaping, things come up. Your vision, the way you see a clean yard versus the way somebody else sees it, it's probably different, right? A lot of people, they look at magazines and online, they see that perfect yard, and their yard might not be able to look like that. But if you set that expectations in the beginning of, what the end result's supposed to look like, I think that that can really knock out a lot of that, back and forth between you and the client, but then also so that they're happy with what you give them. Right.
So. Do you have like a specific place where you'll send like clients to like give good, recommendations? Do you like Facebook, obviously?
Zillow's a big one. Zillow, I think, because you get a lot of people looking on Zillow for homes. It's just kind of a natural. Everybody knows Zillow. It's a place to go and look for homes. So we do a lot of reviews on there so that our profiles are a little bit higher. Facebook for me is a big one. And then just got started on like the Google, business page stuff to start to send people that way, to have my own, Facebook's a good one. A lot of people are on there. They do check you out. I mean, employers look at people's Facebooks, so clients you already know do the same thing. Yep. And when they look up your name, I mean, if I'll be honest, when I get a client's name, sometimes I look them up on Facebook to see, who I'm dealing with, right? Or who I'm about to meet, or try to come into it knowing, better myself. So I see on their page that they love a certain sport or something. I have something to talk to them about. Or something.
They have three boys.
They have 3 boys that I can drop those things that just kind of secure me as their agent to build those relationships. So, if I'm looking up clients, they're definitely looking me up. So I try to make sure that business page is there, that people have reviews to go look at. But yeah, usually we send that out right after the transaction's closed. That's when they're the happiest. They finally got the keys.
That's awesome. So it's a numbers game. What are your goals this year?
Let's see. So last year, my second year, I sold 56 homes. Nice. So this year, my goal is 72. So I'm gonna step it up a little bit. But right now I'm on track for that. And I'm gonna keep doing that. So that's my goals. To help run the team. To a certain point, there's certain, we call it A, B, and C players. As employees, right? You got the A players that are always doing their thing, but typically those are the people that are going to move on, start their own landscaping company, become an independent agent, and things like that. Right. And then you have the B and C players that are on the team that are just always going to be on the team, right? They're happy with just kind of the even flow, and they're not going above and beyond to try to set those numbers and things like that. But my goal. I could go on my own, but I kind of love running the team, managing. I kind of have more of that management, like the love for that. Right. So my goal is to just kind of stay on the team for now and help run that, grow the team. And
how many people are on your team right now?
Right now we have in total eight buyers, 8 agents, and then we have about six admins.
Okay. So everybody's a buyer's agent.
Buyer and seller. Yeah, we don't have. Yeah, we have both. We don't have. You can only be a buyer or only seller.
Yeah, you're working for both.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? What's better in your opinion, or what comes more often in your realm?
What comes more often is buyers, right? So you get a lot more people looking interested. For homes. They've never worked with a realtor before, so you get those leads a little bit easier. Right. Sellers, typically somebody helped them buy. However, most agents don't do a good job with follow-up, staying in touch. They didn't deliver good enough experience when they bought that people, if you look at surveys out there, most people, when they're closing on the home would say they would use the agent again. If they were surveyed, a year later, they wouldn't even know the person's name or know how to get a hold of them. Right. Because they don't stay in front of them after the transaction. They didn't do a good enough job where the person's like, wow, and then just remembers them. Right. So seller leads do come. And a lot of times it usually comes when somebody is inquiring about a house. You go out and show them. They're like, I'd love to buy this house, but I need to sell mine. Right. Oh, so good deal. 2 for 1. Yeah. But, and then repeat clients. So clients that you help purchase, only being in the business 2 years. Right now I've sold one person's house that did buy, just work situation. They had to move. So ended up getting them out of the house, and luckily didn't have to, didn't take a loss or anything, was able to get them out even. Which is a good thing when only a year, But so I'm starting to get those referrals either from clients or the clients themselves.
Right. So it's like New realtors, it's pretty much you're looking for people wanting to buy houses.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you're posting on Facebook for people to see. Oh yeah, I should call him because I want to buy a house.
Yeah, most of the time you're going to get buyer leads. Now you do have the people who, big business, especially with new people, is just cold calling, is trying to get expired listings. So the listing expires, didn't sell. Everybody has public record to that of all those expired listings, and so you just get hammered with phone calls. And so you're just going after things that are already listed. So in the alarm world, what that was is going up to a house that already has an alarm sign and just switching them over, upgrading their equipment. It's an easy sale because that person already knows they want an alarm.
Yeah.
When I was selling door to door, most of the time I was knocking on a door. They had no idea they wanted an alarm that day until I convinced them they wanted an alarm. And so with real estate, they've already thought about selling their home. So now it's when it didn't quite sell. So how can you help them sell their home?
Right.
So those are a little bit easier targets there, but everybody's calling them. So you're not the only one. So those are a little bit harder. It's cold calling. You got to find them at the right time and do the right thing for them. But most of the time, the new leads that come in are buyers.
And where do and you guys like have a lead source, right?
Sure, yeah. And we used to do Zillow. You can pay for Zillow advertising so that when somebody's looking on Zillow, you show up as a preferred agent. So when they click, I want to see more info about this house, it sends us their information.
Okay.
We don't do that anymore. We're on Realtor.com. We do some Facebook advertising, word of mouth. Kay runs a pretty tight ship, and most of our business is referral business. He really hardly ever works with any of the internet leads that we do. It's really all his business is referral business.
Right.
And that's where you need to get to sustain a real estate career, is to just really, if you can just focus on your clients, create those relationships and that repeat business, or their friends and family in their spheres, you don't need to pay for advertising.
Yeah, no doubt. So what's like a normal day for you? Like
Normal.
Yeah, what's
the boys wake up early, so up early.
No alarm clock?
I do have an alarm clock.
I don't,
Tuesday,
man.
Thursday, I go play basketball super early, 5:30.
Right. There you go.
So I go play that before the boys get up. Usually I get home, they're already up. Get ready, take them to school, head to the office. And we meet every day as a team. So we meet at 10. Just go over our days, anything we're struggling with, any buyers we're struggling with, any listings we have coming up, because our goal is to, with listings, sell them before they hit the market, right? So we've got a team of 8 agents. I tell them I've got a central home, 3-2, it's going to be 200. Somebody on my team's like, I've got a buyer, they can't find anything. Like, I want to show it. We're trying to sell within our team.
Yeah.
Somebody says, I have somebody looking east side, they can't find this, and I just saw one, right? I'm like, hey, go check out this house.
Right.
So we meet every day just to try to make sure, and one, it just holds you accountable to getting out there and working. So many times you see real estate agents work from home, things like that. Like, who's holding you accountable to making those phone calls, going to those appointments, holding open houses when you can say, I'll do it later. When you're in the office, you got people looking at you, holding you accountable. So most of the time I'll have some showings in the afternoon. My evenings and weekends are pretty busy. That's when people are off. I work when people are off.
Right.
So as soon as they're off at 4, usually have a couple of showings. Weekends, maybe I'll do an open house for a couple hours, do some showings. But my schedule's pretty all over the place.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
There's times in the day when I'm just like, how is it only 12:45?
Sure.
I'm like,
yeah.
I've been to Houghton and Sahuarita. I'm now on Ina and Oracle. I just left Catalina.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Why did it happen? Well, I know why, because I have bills.
Sure. Sure.
I can't be too picky on where I'm going.
Sure.
But man, I'll tell you one thing. With me, it's like, it's so crazy how sometimes I'll just be able to get like 4 or 5 jobs in the same neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
And it's all just different. We always ask, how did they hear about us, right? Like, I'm sure you do. How'd you hear about me? People are like, we went on, Home Advisor, we have a bunch of good reviews on there. So they're like, yeah, we wanted to go with somebody with a bunch of good reviews. Or it's like, we knew somebody that did work for us, and they all live in the same zip code.
Sure.
Like today we were at, 4 properties. I'm pretty sure all their zip codes were 85749.
Yeah.
And we spread like 35 tons of gravel.
Yeah.
And before that, I had a few guys going over to do like a monthly maintenance plan for a lady. It's like real quick, like 45 minutes. And then I went over and sprayed some like spurge growing in Bermuda grass that wasn't overseeded. For an old member at 49er Country Club.
Sure.
Because that's what I did before the company. I was a superintendent out there. So it's, I was doing like some golf, in a sense type of deal. In fact, this morning when I was on my way to work, I had today was crazy, right? I'm sure you can agree, right? With whatever you got going on, but I was on my way to work, and my old coworker, who was my assistant superintendent, was his title, and I prayed. I thank God every time I think about having him as a person that worked with me at the golf course, because he was there, showed up. But I just was thinking about him today, because as I'm thinking about how I'm going to get this day done, I'm like, I got to drop these 2 people off, and then these people are going to go do the monthly maintenance. Gravel's being delivered at 7:30. We got to get there right at 8:30. Hopefully the guy with the Bobcat will be there at 8:30, and then hopefully my guys won't be too far behind. We all went through the fence at the same time. Yeah. Somehow, some way, we all went through the fence at the same time. The guy is super happy. We'll put some pictures on our Facebook tonight, because it's just an awesome little job to be able to knock it out in from 8:30 to 1 and just be done. And then we have one other gravel job that we're doing to complete that 35 tons. And we don't do that every day. Yeah. It's definitely one of those days where it's thank you.
Oh yeah. Some days it's just, you feel like every single buyer that you're working with right now wants to see a house at the same time. And you got to, spread it out. Hey, can I go see it at 4? And you're like, yes. And then the next person's like, hey, I saw this house. Can we go see it at 4? And you're like, how's 4:30? Yeah. You're trying to spread it out. And then you got days where you just got nothing.
Does it ever work out for you? Where you're bam, bam, in the same neighborhood?
Sometimes it does. But, and you try to, you try to group them as best you can. Right. But, I've, like you said, I've been in Sahuarita and had to go show a house in Saddlebrook. Right. And it's just, it in the same day. Darn. And so it's just here comes an hour drive, Yep. And, but thank God, Tucson, at an hour drive is the most that you're going to do, and that's one benefit of being a realtor here in Tucson. It's not big enough for you to specialize in an area. So, right. I can, as you said, you can't be picky with the people you work with, and you don't really need to be. If I had to specify an area and then you're just waiting for people in that area, it could be tough. Yeah. And to try to establish, dominance in those areas. But if you can kind of spread out, there's more than enough business here in Tucson. 1 million+ people here in Tucson. Yep. There's no reason that, as realtors, we can't work together, and we do all the time. So.
Oh yeah, I know. The house that we bought, was being sold by some dude on the sign. And then we just talked to my, Tyler, right? We've been friends since elementary school. We just called him. He's like, yeah, we could sell you that house. Yeah. I'm like, oh, good deal. Yeah. So it's funny how the sign is just, all that means is that person that owns the home probably bought the house from that person. Sure. Or they're friends with them. Yeah. And they're just giving them that opportunity because they're on their top of their list. Yeah. Right.
Sure. Yeah. They're in their sphere.
That makes sense. After this, I'm going over to Guild Mortgage. Mm-hmm. Zach Mooney's having a little grand opening thing. So wore my Poppy Yard Solutions swag.
Hey, you got to always advertising.
We I don't know if you are you aware of the open house show? Did you get promoted or approached by those people that were in town?
I heard about it, but
yeah. So it's this show that comes on at 11 o'clock or 10 p.m. on Channel 11 on Saturday nights, and we bought the landscaping segments. We have a commercial that airs, every week once, and my daughter's in it, and it's awesome. We have a little voices Poppy does this, Poppy does that, Poppy does this, and we're promoting pop sockets. We've got a bunch of pop sockets, and we're just literally playing off of that Gettle thing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Get a free flashlight. Right? So with Poppy Yard Solutions, new customers, we give our spray technicians and people on the crew pop sockets to give to the customers. Perfect. And it's we've had just people just so thankful, and how awesome is that? Mm-hmm. And so this weekend also the people are coming in town, and we're actually filming a little segment for the show, and the show airs in 3 states. Nice. So it's pretty cool. Last few months ago we did it, and we did how to overseed a lawn. So we overseeded my lawn in December, which you should do it in September or October. Right. Yeah. And so it has grass, but it's not a flush fairway. Sure. But it was a good experience. To see if people are calling me in December hey, I want to oversee my lawn. I can be like, well, take a look at this picture.
Yeah.
But my master plan is I took a picture of it already. I have some green paint.
Yeah.
It's like for fairways. Like
Yeah.
this is how you make unbelievable grass look even more unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna paint it, and I'm gonna take pictures, and then I'll have that for like, hey, we don't need to overseed. You could just do this,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah.
it lasts for like 3 months. Doesn't come off. It's totally bio-friendly.
Yeah.
Just a cool little option. Like,
Sure.
like most landscapers maybe don't know how to get a hold of that product.
Sure.
Like, or want to spend $350 on the 5-gallon jug because, well, it doesn't make sense to buy a gallon jug.
Yeah.
Right, when you should have 5.
Yeah.
If you can. So.
I mean, that's a good thing. Most realtors who are listing a property, if they can list a property in the backyard and the grass is green.
Right. Yeah, we've done some work with a couple people where they're selling the house, and I mentioned it to him just like I'm doing now. Right? Hint, hint. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And literally, like within a month, he's like, "Hey, we got this house. It has like the grass sucks. Can you come paint it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's going to be $150.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a gigantic lawn, 1,800 square feet or whatever. And he was there when I was doing it because he's interested, and he's
Sure.
like, damn.
Yeah, it makes it look way better. Yeah.
This is amazing,
Yeah.
and so no, it's just, these always going back on what you learned. I'm sure you use stuff from the selling alarms every day.
Yeah.
You have these go-to statements or phrases that are just the kill, but they're just
Sure.
totally acceptable by the customer, right?
Yeah.
Talking to people, right? Do you think that's like you're master at it?
Yeah. I mean,
You have
I
to
think
be.
that one of the things that in most sales jobs, learning the product and things like that is pretty simple, but the technique of relationships and working with people and being able to sell is above all. You could have a technical person who's really good at paperwork, who knows the real estate world, but if they can't talk to people and they're awkward with people, they're not going to make it as a real estate agent. And
Right.
we've seen some of those come and go on our team that just, they work hard and they're out there and they're doing open houses and we're sending them leads and it's just not translating. And you think, is it the leads we're sending them? Is it, what is it? And it comes down to the personality and just their ability to, not awkwardly talk with people and, people that they don't know,
Yep.
because it's completely different. You go and shadow them from what they are in the office, from around the people that they know to in somebody that they just meeting for the first time.
Right. It's like game time, and it's like who shows up.
Yeah, and so for me, real estate, any sales job, landscaping, running your own business, you have to be personable, and you have to build those relationships and be able to build that right away.
Right.
Find that common ground. I mean, we have common ground with everybody, so you just got to find it.
Do you you've had like I'm going to say roughly 80 something customers, we'll say, in the past 2 years that have closed. Do you like, does the team or you individually send out like, thank you cards or Christmas cards?
Yeah, so we do a couple of things when we get you into contract. So right when you are one of our clients, we get you into contract, we send a card and some brownies.
Nice.
And it's so funny. And when people close, we send stuff as well, and then on their birthdays. But it's so funny. You're helping these people, buy the biggest purchase of their life, right? Buying a house. I mean, there's nothing really any bigger that they're going to buy.
Right.
And what excites them is the card and the, box of brownies.
Yeah.
And they're like, just like can't believe it, and so, we do things like that, birthday cards, and, I try to call them on their birthday and things like that.
That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Seem like you're pretty, pretty good with the family, everything.
Sure.
You think that real estate was a good blessing for you for time with family, or is there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's times that, I'm sure my wife would love me to be at home for dinner, some of the nights because, kudos to her for being able to, take care of 2 boys and do dinner and bath time and get them ready. And for me to just show up, afterwards. But, it's not every night.
Right.
And it's not 8 to 10, sometimes it's 8 to 10 hours on a Saturday.
Right.
Most of the time it's not. It's here and there, a couple showings.
Right.
I've got the mornings, in the mornings I take the boys to school. She goes to work earlier than I do. So, I have that time with them.
That's like your every morning is like.
Yeah. And if I need to
tradition.
be off during the day, I have a little bit more flexible schedule. I can block off the time. I don't have to be sitting at the desk. I can go if they're sick. I can be at home for most of the day.
Right. Yep.
Work from home and not take appointments if I need to, and block out that time. So I think it can be intense, especially when you're getting started. But first couple of years, it's going to take that. You got to take those appointments. You got to take that 5 o'clock appointment when they call you at 4:30. Right. You're already home. You got to go. You got to leave. You got to take those weekends when you got those family events and stuff. And sometimes you got to miss them. But in 5 years from now, I'm not going to have to take those appointments.
Right.
I'm going to be able to choose those and set my schedule. But for now, you got to build it, and you got to take that extra job on a Friday by yourself, or whatever it is. So it's definitely a blessing for sure.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I have probably 10 to 15 friends that are realtors, and I just don't understand. It's just so confusing to me, like how it's possible. Like a lot of people in Tucson try to be realtors.
Sure.
Right. It's not like unknown knowledge. There's a lot of people that have tried and it doesn't work out, right? Sure. Which is fine. To those that it does work out, man, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Kudos to you, dude.
It definitely takes working it full time. There's a lot of some part-time people can do it, and those are the people that are good at sales and just kind of comes naturally to them.
Right.
They've got other jobs and they can work it part-time. They've got a good sphere. But to truly be successful in real estate, you got to make it your career. You got to jump all the way in. Too many times we have new agents that come in that hold on to their night job or their weekend job.
Right.
And they try to do real estate during the day, or like, as soon as I get going, then I'm going to switch. But they have that security of the other job, and they're not like willing to make the jump, be scared, and which would, typically leads to doing extra to make sure that you're all set.
Yeah. No, I mean, what's like, go all in, right? Obviously. And, when how could you lose when you have no other, you don't lose because you have no other option.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, people that hold the other jobs, like, do I need to make the call? I still have this paycheck coming in, or I got to go to work tonight. So, it's
exactly. They don't have that mindset. So it's never going to be as amazing as someone that does have that mindset.
Sure. And that's okay. And not everybody is going to crush it at everything. And that's why some people are built to do, corporate jobs and not sales jobs and be out there. It's just, for me, sitting behind a desk all day, it's just not for me.
Right. So when new agents come in, you guys have like a screening process throughout the team, or does Kay choose?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do interviews. We basically 99% of the time will not hire an experienced agent to come on the team. It's just, they've done it their way for years, and it's just, you know, you just got to hire somebody new, right? And because most people, when they're on their own, just joining a team, it's just not right for them. So most of the time, it's just new agents anyway. But we do trainings, we shadow them, we take them on appointments with us, with them shadowing us. And we meet every day. We do trainings once a week. We bring in lenders, title people, just to train these people so that when they are out there in the field and a client says something or they run into a problem, they can remember at least us talking about it and know that they have a solution, and just try to guide them as best we can, keep them accountable.
Right. So like, switching from people that want to be realtors or are realtors to customers, why do people want to buy from Scott Meldy? What's your
Yeah,
what's your sell?
That's a good question. So for me, I feel like my relationships with my clients are the best. I feel like I create, instead of making friends clients, I make clients friends, and do the best I can. And I just know that I'm going to go out there and work harder than anybody else for them. I'm going to find them the deals. I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to guide them through the process. I look at myself as more of a teacher. I try not to just, you're going to buy a house, so let me do everything for you. I want them to understand what they're doing, so that when we're looking at the different properties and they're going through the process, they completely understand it, so that to a certain extent, they wouldn't need me, to buy another house or to buy the house but so that I can teach them. I just feel like that's the best way to do it, because at the end of the day, I could go and work on my own car and I could figure it out, but that's just not me. So I'm going to hire somebody that does it. Right. Yeah. But I'm not just going to also go to a shop and say, hey, just do whatever you think needs to be done. And, give me my car back when I'm, don't even tell me.
Right.
So, you gotta understand what they're doing, to a certain extent. But, also just the work ethic that I have. This is my full-time career. I'm not a part-time agent. And I've been here since I was 7. So, I know this town. I've got a great sphere of people, landscapers,
right.
contractors, car salesmen, restaurant owners.
Right.
Whatever you need, I've got somebody that's trusted that I can send over to. I've got this.
You got a pest control guy?
I do.
Yeah, good. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I got pest control guy, roofer, car guy, life insurance, whatever you need, homeowners insurance. So that's one of the benefits of working with us.
I know that guy.
Yeah, that guy, literally. And so, when we have clients, we go above and beyond. They get in a contract, we help them get homeowners insurance quote. It's their job to go do it on their own, but
right.
They don't know what they're looking for.
Right.
And so we help them get competitive quotes. We have trusted home inspectors, pest control guys that are looking for termites and things like that, roofer and just everything that somebody would need, or electricians when they're looking at the home. If people need to look at different scenarios on a home, we've got those people.
Right. So you're going to provide the value and also the ease of the process.
Yeah, the knowledge, just so they understand what they're doing.
That's good. Yeah, no, I try to do the same, man. People are like, I don't want to say I'm trying to change the game, but I'm changing the game, Scott,
Sure.
right? A lot of the weed control companies, they charge month to month, right? It's like, this much a month or whatever. And I just feel that that's one of the silliest things that I could do for my vehicles.
Sure.
Like to be visiting a house once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've come up with, again, creating that relationship to where, hey, we want to come out to your house and spray twice a year. Every 5 months, we'll contact you, right? So it's not the same months. It can be if the person's like, no, I wanted to. We can do September and March, whatever. But we had a customer who, again, I'm trying to just share with them. I don't feel it's in our best benefit to come out every month, and I'm just being honest, right? I don't think it's best for us because it's just not good for you, and we can get the same done without coming out as many times. She says, nope, I want once a month. And I said, you know what? Okay. We'll come out to your place once a month and we'll spot spray. But up front, we're going to do a cleanup. We're going to pull the weeds and stuff. Then we're going to come about 2 weeks later once things start growing again, but they're really small, and spray. And it's going to be this amount. And then every month, that amount, we're going to divide that by 6. And that's what we're going to charge.
Sure.
That's what that's what all the other companies do. And I said, then every 6 months, since we're just spot spraying to get rid of what's there, we're going to spray the full yard again for that full price again.
Sure.
So, the lady lives right next to me. I was like feeling like I wanted to just help a person out.
Sure.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. But typically that's a business that's almost unsustainable. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean,
how do you build a list of 5,000 people and visit them once a month?
Yeah.
Who's going to want to pay the bills on that?
Yeah. Yeah. No. And again, I mean, it's for you, to be that guy that, almost teaches them to not need you, how they can, maintain the yard, when to look at it, when to, be spraying, this is what you can use. But because when you educate them, they don't want, at the end of the day, they don't want to do it.
Right.
And when you are the one telling them and you're teaching them how not to use you, they're going to call you.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
so when you're not the person holding the information, the secret sauce in the spray or whatever, and making it so they have to call you and you're only coming, when the weeds come,
right.
It's just, I think that that's the business model. It's the relationship. They're going to want to call you.
Right. No, it's like, hey, we'll call you in 5 months, but do me a favor. Please, like I'm begging you, if you see weeds, because you're going to be here every day, man. I'm not. I'm at my house pulling my weed.
Yeah.
My 4 or 5 weeds that come up a year.
Yeah.
I'm pulling them.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't want to do that, you just call me. I'll come back and spot spray for free.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back on, at our scheduled time and then do the paid service, right?
Sure.
There's this guy named Brad Lee, and I just like to say it occasionally, like, because we don't have contracts, right? We're not trying to get you on a contract, right? And here's the quote is, have you ever heard of Bradley? He has a podcast, right? He's a pretty successful dude.
Sure.
It's all about, his business is all about like training systems, right? And pretty much it's like, if we don't deserve your business, then we don't want it, right? So like if we don't have any contracts, we're going to call you for recurring service. If you ever want to stop, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let me know why, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll continue. Hopefully we can still be friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of realtors. I mean, it translates to the real estate world where the old school model is you have to sign this agreement before you get in my car and I show you houses that says I'm going to be your realtor.
Right.
And I don't do that. Some people may say that's the wrong thing to do, but, for me, it goes both ways. One, like they should be able to choose their agent. Two, I should be able to choose my client. So
right.
if you're not working out for me, if I should be able to fire you,
right.
and I shouldn't be held to this contract either. The only time we make people sign those contracts is when they find the house they like and we're making an offer, because it's just the state requires it. Our brokerage requires that form.
Right.
But I don't. If I show people 20 houses, and now it sucks, they stop at an open house and they go and buy that house.
Right.
I did a bad job of not letting them know, that I can help them out with that stuff. So for me, I feel like I do a good enough job in the beginning that no matter what, they're going to use me, especially if any house that I do show them. But I'm just going to do a good enough job. I don't need that contract that they're going to call me. They're going to want to use me. They're going to go buy an open house and then call me and say, hey, we saw this house. We really like it. Can you help us, get it? So.
It's a fine line, when you're talking to people and you're trying to honestly give them like value or knowledge. And it's like, how do you not say that like too much, right? Like you want to give them enough to where when they go home and think of something that you probably could have said, you built that relationship to where like, hey, let's call Scott and see what he says, or let's text Scott and see what
every client I leave, especially with the closing, I say, you call me no matter what. Again, you're going to buy a new car, you call me because I've got somebody who can help you out. And I want to be the guy that they call just to think about. It has nothing to do with the house, or if it does have to do with the house, but I'm not going to be, making any money on it because they're just getting some maintenance on it, or they're upgrading it, or they're getting a landscaper.
Right.
I want to be that go-to guy because when they do sell it, or when their friends talking about real estate, they're gonna think about my name, and they're gonna refer me without a doubt. And I just love to give as much information as I can and to be completely upfront with people. Like the only way I make money is to help you buy. I get paid at the end, and I can help you with any house that's on the market. Right. If I don't say that in the beginning, a lot of people think you have to go with the person on the sign.
Right.
Or if you go to a new construction, you have to use the builder and the people sitting in that sales office. You don't. You can have your own representation on a new build. You can have somebody there that's to watch the contract, to negotiate in the beginning for you, that it's not just what they tell you on their base pricing and all the upgrades. You can negotiate, and somebody who's there to watch your best interests on the contract, to help you with inspections, to know what to look for. And most people don't know that. You stop in an open house, I can still help you. Any listing that's on the market, I can help them buy.
Yep. That's like the most important thing that you could tell a prospective client, I would imagine.
Just tell them what you do. I mean, especially with you. I mean, pavers, like most landscapers don't do pavers, all the extra stuff. And if you don't tell people that, they're going to have you come chop down the weeds. And then the next time you come to spot spray, you're going to see somebody installing pavers.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, I could have been doing that job.
Yeah.
And they had no idea that's what you do.
Right.
And when in the alarm business, everybody thinks it's just security, right? Security may be cameras, but most people didn't know we did cameras. Most people didn't know we did home automation, door locks, thermostats, all that. And if you don't mention it, they're not going to call you for that stuff.
Right.
And so just telling everybody what you do every time you get a chance to meet them, and that's the only way you're going to grow your business.
Yep. It's the truth, man. It's the truth. And, when you get that blunt of calls, that just hits you, it's game time, and then you got to really somehow man up or woman up and make those calls and set those appointments and hold yourself accountable to.
And it's not that old saying, fake it till you make it. I'm completely, especially in the beginning, I was brand new, so I was not going to have the answer to everything, but I wasn't going to try to hide it.
Right.
And so one of the things, I used to joke with people, especially in the first couple of months, how long you been doing this? Oh, less than a year. even though it was like 1 month, that's still true, right? Less than a year, but they didn't know I was fresh. But I would tell them, I'm new, but if I don't know the answer, I'm going to go get it. I'm on a team. I've got people who can find it for me. Right. I'm out here working, really hard, and I'll find the answer for you if I don't know it instantly. Every house is different. Even, Kay, who's been in the business 10 plus years now, he's not going to know the answer to everything. Things are changing with real estate from the time he started to when I started. Rules, regulations, all that. It's always changing. And to know it completely, somebody would be lying if they said they did. Yeah. So
it's cool, Scott. You're a cool dude, man.
I appreciate it.
I can't believe we've never run into each other, like in the past 10 years or so.
Sure. I know. Tucson is a small town.
It's a small town, man. I'm glad we met, and thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
You bet, man. So hey, where can people find you at? What's your Facebook and
Sure, my tagline is...
Tell us that marketing, man.
Yeah, so my tagline is That Real Estate Guy. Not too hard to find me, but if you go look it up, Instagram, Facebook, / That Real Estate Guy AZ, and you can find me, see what I'm doing every day on Instagram stories, and see some of the houses, some of the people I'm helping and their stories, because a lot of times posting that, it clicks. I help a first-time home buyer who had this situation, and I post about it, and somebody's watching and says, that's me. And so that's why I try to just be educational. I'm not a salesy marketing. When you see these people that are just constantly selling their friends, like buy this, buy this, buy this. Are you going to buy a house? Are you going to buy a house? Call me. It's just the information. It's just, for me, it's just an information dump of, what I know to help people out there, because they're just going to call me because they know I'm the one who knows the answer.
Right. That's cool, man. Yeah. I mean, it stuck with me, the real estate guy. We'll make your yard pop.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
We'll make that real estate guy's yard pop. No. Yeah. No. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on today, man. I really appreciate it. You can find me at Poppy Yards at Facebook and Instagram, and our website is poppyyards.com. We got a bunch of cool photos, and we definitely love to hear feedback in any way, negative, positive. We can definitely learn and grow from all of it. Sure. So thanks a lot.
Always here to help.
Way to end the episode.
Let's go.
Later, man.
See ya.